Have you ever wondered how the Rockefellers built their wealth and how they made it that they could borrow money from themselves? Well, stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe if you'd like to continue to find out more about real estate, business, and local services in your area. Stay tuned to find out more about how to build generational wealth. So much, Mike, for coming on my show today. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much, Afroditi, for inviting me onto your show. I'm looking forward to spending our time together this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, there's number one thing that people don't know much about and how to really invest. And so I know that what you provide and what your company provides could be a pinnacle point for people's lives. So I specifically wanted you to come on and talk about your company, Mike Carter Investment. So go ahead, shoot, tell me all about it.
Well, I've been here in the Las Vegas area for over 40 years. I've been in this industry for over 25. And Carter Investment Company is an independent company. So what that means is that I work with a lot of different vendors in the space. It's not just, hey, I got one company to work with. I work with a lot of different vendors. I offer things like life insurance, disability coverage, long-term care, which helps protect you and your family. Some of the other things that we do at Carter Investment Services, though, are help people get out of debt. We do a lot of tax planning for our clients because if you keep Uncle Sam out of your pocket, that's money that you get to spend yourself. And for our business owner clients, we can even do things like tax credits. And so that kind of gives you the gist of what we do at Carter Investment Services. I'm a long-term member of it's now the Vegas Chamber.
Yeah.
It was the Las Vegas Metro Chamber of Commerce, Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce, and a graduate of UNLV.
Nice, beautiful. It can't get much better than that. Geez. So just to understand your credentials a bit, tell me a little bit more about investment and getting families out of debt. Tell me more about that piece.
I'm happy to talk about getting families out of debt. With the recent year that we've had being living in a pandemic, a lot of folks have been able to put off paying on their student loan debt. But as a reminder, the interest rate is continuing to, the interest on the loans continues to accrue. A lot of folks have been living on their credit cards over the last year. You've got folks that have deferred payments on their auto loans, on their home mortgages. So Americans have a lot of debt. And this past year has actually increased the amount of debt that Americans have. And what we do at Carter Investment Services is we help folks by showing them how to use their money more than once, just like the banks do. I have a program called Your Family Bank to do this. And what it does is it allows you to earn interest and compound interest on money that you're sending in to your credit card company to pay off their credit cards or to your mortgage or to your auto loan.
Right. And what kind of vehicles do you use financially doing this for the people? Is it primarily life insurance that you're using to create this?
With Your Family Bank, we absolutely use a life insurance product. The key to a life insurance product, and it's great for folks to think about it this way, is that most people think about it as a product that only kicks in when they die. Life insurance is actually a wonderful product while you're alive, life insurance. And the beautiful thing about using the life insurance as part of Your Family Bank is we sit down, one with Your Family Bank, what we end up doing is we show people we help them with their budgeting. We sit down and talk to them about, how their money works, how the interest on a credit card works. We talk to them about how their taxes work as well. One of the beautiful things about using a life insurance product as the bank in the Your Family Bank is it gives you the ability, one, to earn interest on money that you're withdrawing. You can continue to earn interest money because you're borrowing it against your policy, but you're still earning money while you're borrowing it.
Right.
And so what that allows you to do is then pay off a credit card. You pay yourself back into Your Family Bank. The money there grows without being taxed. When you take it out, you don't have to pay taxes on it. It's a beautiful tax-free is a beautiful thing. The other thing it does is it's also 100% creditor protected here in the great state of Nevada. So a life insurance policy in Nevada Even if something happens and you get sued or something of that nature, they can't come after your life insurance policy. So it's another great way to protect your family's bank. The other thing that it does is it's also self-completing.
Hmm.
The whole plan was to have this money to pay my bills off, and I put my wife, my family, my friends, whoever's going to take over my estate in a better place. Well, if you die, we'll enable you to continue your family bank idea, because then there's a death benefit to be able to pay that off. So really, it's a multifaceted thing, and that's why we use life insurance to work with it.
Right, right. And I think that that's the biggest piece. Many people aren't aware of the power of life insurance, because if you think about it, life insurance it's fairly young in its existence, right? And then when the living benefit came around, is even more young. It may be the 80s, 70s or 80s potentially. So it's not really common for people to know its power. And that's where you come in, right? It's to sit people down and really break that down from them and bring them to a reality that they didn't even know existed.
It is. It is. The nice thing about the policy that I use for the Your Family Bank is that it's actually a new type of policy. It's a whole life policy, which has been around for a very long time. It's the oldest type of life insurance there is. So a whole life policy have been around for over 100 years.
Okay.
The type of policy that we use now, though, is one that has no surrender charges. It has accessibility to the cash 10 days after you put it into the policy. So if you've got money growing in your policy and, hey, I've got a credit card that I'd like to pay off 2 months after I sat down and, we issued the policy and Mike got me set up with this, bam, I can take that money out and pay that credit card off. Okay. So it's very early, high cash value that's accessible immediately. And that really is why it works so well as your bank. Because if you've got money in your bank, you want to be able to go access it. You want to be able to go, okay, I need to, pay off this bill. Well, I just go down to the bank, I take my money out, I send it in. Same thing happens with the Your Family Bank ideas. The money's available almost immediately. You can borrow up to 95% of your cash value that's available in there to do this with. And then you're going to pay yourself back. But again, you're earning interest on this money the entire time.
Right. And this is a common, this was used by Rockefellers and a lot of the other bigger, big wealthy families in existence, that they had a bank or a family trust that was a bank. And then any money that they would take out, they would repay themselves back. So this is the same concept to keep a revolving door of cash flow, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rich people buy life insurance. It's true.
It's true. Well, we were talking about, it's not even that it's the fact that it's rich, it's just wealth in general and the power that comes with it, in the aspect of, do you want to live in somebody else's pocket in the world's credit revolving door pocket, or would you like to live in your own world of wealth and existence?
Which is exactly what Your Family Bank does, is we get you to the point where you don't have to borrow from the bank anymore. There comes a time when Your Family Bank will be established enough that if you want to use it to buy a house,
right,
you'll be able to do it from Your Family Bank. Or maybe it's just something where, hey, I can't buy my entire house with my family bank, but you know what? I got enough for that down payment to be able to get favorable terms on my loan. To qualify easier to be able to buy, that home of my dreams. Or maybe I'm a real estate investor, maybe I'm flipping houses and I've got this cash that I have to flip, every 6 months or every 3 months. But when I don't have a house that I'm invested in, I'm just putting it in the bank. But right now the bank's paying basically 0% interest on anything that's short term. And as you well know, Aphroditi, house flippers, they never know. It could be tomorrow, or 3 days from now that, hey, I need to have that money in my pocket to be able to go buy a house cash. And so we can actually use the Your Family Bank idea for folks that are flipping houses as well, because it allows them to have access to their money immediately, but also earn a fair interest rate along the way, as opposed to just putting it in the bank and earning nothing.
Right. And that's the thing, understanding the aspect of money and compound interest and how does that work, and how can you utilize it to your advantage, even though that's not necessarily compound interest because it's a quick revolving door. So the creativity of That's pretty awesome. What's the most unorthodox or creative way you've seen somebody utilize your family bank?
Oh my gosh, you can use it in so many different ways. There's business owners that are out there going, look, I want to put a bunch of money in this. I want to put 70 grand a year in this. Now that's another nice thing is it really, there's no limit on how much money you can put into one of these plans. There's also no limit on how many plans you have. So, okay, I established this plan and put X amount of dollars into it every day. Well, I'd like to do a different one, or my wife needs one for her business, or we just have a second business. Can I do that? You can do whatever you like. There's no limitations like there are doing IRAs or 401ks. And in one circumstance, you've got a business owner that knows he's going to buy a new truck every year. It's just what they do in the business. You know, he's got a fleet of trucks. They replace them on a regular basis. So he's always buying a truck. So rather than putting that 70 grand and just sending it into the company in order to buy that work truck, he actually puts it through your family bank. So he's earning interest on that money every year, buys the truck with that money, and then pays himself back at the end. So he gets to earn interest. Instead of paying the banks, he's paying himself.
Right.
It ends up being a wonderful thing. And while I'm not a tax expert on this, I will tell you, if you look at the tax code, that if you're paying interest on a loan and it's a business loan, the tax code says the business loans are tax deductible to the business. You want to talk to your accountant to verify whether that works entirely with everything we're doing, but I just know what the IRS code says.
Wow.
It would be something even more sort of like, hey, I didn't even think about that, but it's absolutely something you can do.
Interesting. And depending on the amount of money that you're actually putting into that particular plan or account, will that be the differentiation? Well, not differentiation. Would that be the determining factor of how much interest you would gain on that particular amount of money?
Yes. It's just like doing a mortgage loan.
Right. Okay.
If you're paying 3.5% interest on a mortgage loan, the payment on a $150,000 loan is simply half the payment than it would be if it were a $300,000 loan. Same thing works with your family bank. More money that you put in, the better interest, the more interest you're going to garner, not necessarily the better interest rate. Obviously, the other nice thing about your family bank is that it also becomes a retirement supplement down at the end, because you can take the money out and supplement your retirement. For my clients who may not necessarily have a whole lot of debt, Mike, don't have a whole lot of debt, but I like the way this product works. There are other products out there that allow them to even get a better rate of return than they would in your family bank. When we do the your family bank idea, we want a guaranteed rate of return to guarantee that that money's there when you need it to pay off your bills. If you're looking, okay, great, Mike, I've got that set up. What else can I do? We can do things like indexed universal life, where you can get an unlimited rate of return based on what the stock market does. Of course, your worst rate of return is zero because you don't lose anything. But that allows you to actually take money out in a fashion much greater than a 401k would ever allow you to do, because just like with your family bank, you're borrowing against it. When it becomes a retirement supplement, regardless of which policy you use, that also is something that you end up borrowing against. So the money's still earning interest while you're spending it, which means that you don't need as much money in your account to generate as much income as you would in a different direction, like a 401k.
Oh my goodness. So basically schedule a consultation with you to help diversify yourself all the way from
Absolutely.
retirement to having a revolving cash flow for your money that could potentially just be sitting there. And instead of having to lock it into an IRA or a Roth that you can't touch it and you're only getting a limited amount of return, you can be really flexible in your investment and then get a larger benefit in the return as well.
Benefits on the life insurance. That's a relatively new thing to life insurance. But what kicks in the living benefits are the same thing that would kick in a long-term care policy. Now, when I say long-term care, most people think nursing homes, or at least I'll use that example. So you immediately go, well, what's long-term care mean, Mike? Well, if you're in a nursing home, you're getting long-term care. What most long-term care policies do, including those that are life insurance based, though, is they keep people out of a nursing home and they keep them in their homes.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this past year proved how dangerous being in a nursing home can actually be, with the pandemic. And so all cash value life insurance policies, and some companies even do it on their term policies, now come with benefits that are long-term care benefits based on the death benefit, not the cash value.
Oh, goodness.
So suddenly you got, Alzheimer's, or you got sick and you couldn't take care of yourself and you needed help and you needed somebody to come out to your house and help you with, activities of daily living. You have that available with the newer life insurance policy. So if somebody's got an older policy, they do not have this benefit on there. So even reviewing it and going, well, I've had this policy for years. It's a great policy. Why do I need to get a new one? A lot of times it's because, and they don't charge for these features. Every insurance company just includes it with what they're doing. There's no extra charge for these riders. But what they do is their living benefits. You are much more likely to need the living benefit than you are to die. Basically every year that you own a life insurance policy.
Right. Well, goodness, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Oh my goodness, I'm so happy because I know it's coming from contribution to really help people in all ends that would ever need anything, all the way again from right now today, solving financial issues that they may be facing from repercussion from the pandemic, all the way up to retirement. So I'm really happy you came on, and I'll make sure people reach out to you so they can get the help that they deserve. Okay, Mike?
Thank you, Aphrodite. And I want to give a shout out to you. Aphrodite got me back into donating blood on a regular basis because she's super involved with United Blood Services here in Southern Nevada.
Oh my goodness, I am, man. And I can't wait to run another one. It's been a little bit different at this time. It's a different time. There are still blood drives that are out there, and I am going to be running them again once more people get the vaccine. And I think I'd definitely run one, but I appreciate you for shouting that out. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I love talking to you, Mike. Talk soon.
All right. Thank you, Aphrodite. You have a great day.